Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just I am playing Octopath Traveler 2. Last episode we started off what I presume to be the final quest in the game, where now the world is engulfed in eternal darkness, and we managed to go and light one of the sacred flames again. So all the sacred flames have been turned off basically. Have you tried turning it on and off again? So the world is currently in eternal night, in any case. And we are trying to fix that.
Let the experiment begin.
As you can see, there's also no music. For the sake of, also,
Here goes.
I should give...
Let's do it.
Oh, that's interesting, actually.
Catapult. Go, go, go. Time to
It's like, I should give Hikari a job, and then I'm like, Right. Okay, I'll go and give Hikari the inventor then, and then I'll just give Portizio the arcanist. I guess this one I'm gonna sneeze. Oh. There we go. Ah, fuck me. The sneezing. Okay, so for the sake of making this go a little bit more smoothly, we've already been here, so I'm going to pause the recording and I will meet you guys once I have reached this dungeon. Alright. Tranquil Grotto again. Time for a massive lore? Probably. Got to hazard a wild guess.
Are you my next patient?
Warlord.
Also,
What to do?
it has literally been like just one evening, just like
My turn.
me sleeping, then getting back up and continuing. Because I'm very invested in this now.
I got you. Yeehaw! Let's do it. Monkey stick.
That's a
All
hope.
in a day's work.
Stand aside or fight.
Kind of wondering if we're gonna get some lore or not.
Strike them down.
Here I go. Axe attack.
Prepare yourself. No quarter.
Bring it. Yeehaw! Let's do it. Monkey stick.
The tide is turning.
What? Axe attack. My journey will not end here.
It would be interesting if like only
You my next
the first place I went to actually has the lore and then the rest is just
Yeehaw! Let's do it.
totally not.
Monkey stick.
I owe you.
I wouldn't say not important, but you know.
Allow me.
What to do? Axe attack. My journey will not end here.
Also, off camera, I learned that some of these enemies can be really nasty. Because they basically wiped like most of my party except for Casty.
I'll do what I must.
I need a plan. Warlord.
My turn.
The darkness.
Axe attack.
Prepare you. How? You fight dirty.
Yeehaw! Let's do it. Monkey stick.
Many thanks.
Well,
Now, feel my wrath.
Feel my broth.
I've gained valuable insight.
Yeah, no lore, just straight up in here. So the warrior and the dancer. Formation. Let's get me in here. And use the mirror.
It was hope that drove me to live, to survive. Drove me away from death's clutches, to guide others along the same path. But hope was a mistake. There is nothing worth living for. Nothing in this cruel, unsightly world. There is no dawn worth waiting for. What would you give to see the morrow, Lord Ageha?
Kazan. Why did you betray us? You lifted up Lord Mugen to the throne, then you tore him down from it.
An eagle must hide his talons. It was the only way to catch my true quarry. The Dark Blood Blade. The sacred treasure of Clan Ku. Not an easy thing to steal. Not so long as Mugen stood in my way. So I cut him down with Hikari's sword.
You? What are you?
For years I have hidden my intentions from Ku. My very name. But now you shall know it. Oboro. All I did to prevent the tide of darkness that waits on the morrow from reaching us. Within this blade slumbers the power of the shadow. The power to quench the flames. However, such a feat cannot be accomplished without a sacrifice. The accursed blood of Darkest. If not for its taint, we may have seen a desert free from the stain of crimson. And now, I end this. Hikari. Goodbye, old friend. This world's end calls to me. Soon, you shall have the world you envisioned. A world without bloodshed. For oblivion shall bring peace.
Kazan. Mugen's rebellion, the razing of the city. Even my ascent to the throne. Were they all just more of your plots? Were we all playing into your hands? How many of my friends died because of you? Hikari. Ever since I was a child, I spoke with him about the future I envisioned. A future without bloodshed. Were our ideals so different? Why did he do this? He aims to bring an end to the world. We have to stop him, together. We will. We'll lead everyone towards the dawn. Okay. Alright, next up is, I presume, Tomb of the Warden Beast. Right, formation. Let's get Throna in here and Orchid. Could save my game, you know, so we don't have a situation where I don't save for 4 hours. And I suppose I will meet you guys once I get there again, because it's just gonna be a freaking run through another road again, fighting the same enemies, blah blah blah. Alright. Back into the Tomb of the Warden Beast. But however, don't really think there's gonna be anything in here.
What to do?
Well, like, there's not gonna be. I don't think I'm gonna run into like another
You're too kind.
massive war dump.
Time to shine.
I guess I can go and just conjure lightning.
Lightning crackles around you. Here we go.
I guess.
What to
I
do,
suppose.
What to do? Axe attack. I'm terribly sorry.
Michael.
You're too kind.
I love HP Thief. But SP Thief used to be better though.
This is my chance.
This is good. I like this, but this is better. Like, I like this, but I like this more. Actually, recently saw that meme again, in its full glory. Top Gears.
You are a poison
Original
that
Top
must
Gear.
be
Good
purged.
stuff.
Ready?
Really, really good stuff right there.
You're too kind. My turn. Time to shine. Lightning crackles around you. Right.
Okay.
What?
Okay, Agnia.
You're too kind. It's bye-bye. I did it. Thank you. Are you my next patient?
Ready?
So many encounters.
Right. All right.
I guess I'll go with just Caution
Fire
Flame, so we'll
burns
see.
within me.
We'll see if that is the weakness of the boys in the back.
Axe attack.
I highly doubt it.
Right. Now.
Thrust.
Bye-bye. Sorry. Thank you.
Since danger is overwhelming. So that was the first flame, huh? Have you heard of it before? Yeah, it came to life inside me. It was comforting and warm. It was then that I decided I wanted to protect the island. I always felt you had a heart warmer than most. Now that I think, now I think I'm ready to take on something even bigger. I'm ready to protect the whole world. That's what a hunter should do, after all. I feel the same way as you do. I want to extend a helping hand to everyone in need during this endless night. You're an apothecary everyone can count on. Then let's do it together. Let's keep everyone safe. Gladly, Chet. I'm honored to have you by my side. Okay, so I'm gonna have to deal with the boss.
I'm the hunter. You're the prey.
Dark Spawn.
My turn.
What are you? Grotesque monster. Twisted Spawn. Well, casual, yet refined.
Right. All right.
Let's see if I can find a weakness, perhaps. That would be quite nice, after all.
Axe attack.
They're all weak to axes.
Here we go.
One of them is confused, even. Bada-bum, bum, bum. Let me try arrows. They're also all weak to arrows. Okay. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Let me see if I can
What?
defeat the spawn before
Right.
they get a turn.
Time to shine.
Bum, 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 bum.
The winds of favor blow.
There we go.
My turn.
Dark breath. That had a very weird sound. Okay, I could in theory break him in this turn, but then I won't have enough BP to do a lot of stuff. However, I can probably make a BP concoction with...
Here we
Could
go.
I? I guess I could definitely try that. Bada 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 bada. Let me go into armor course.
Say bye-bye to your armor.
Ba ba. Bada.
My turn.
Bum, 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 bum. Probably should have done that with her though.
You're
I'll go and do
open.
it again, whatever. I'll go and wait another turn then.
What to do? This will make it all right. I owe you one. Ow! My prey awaits.
Okay. And let's go and break it.
Time to finish this.
My turn.
Let's go and... Da, da, do, da, da. I guess I can go and do
Don't
this.
blink.
Increase the power of Aber's Reckoning.
What to do? What to do?
And now I am wondering if I even have this. Yes. Yes, I do. So I can go and do one of these. With diffusing.
Time for your medicine.
There we go.
Oh, this is what it means to be a star.
Let's go and do a lion dance for everybody.
Lion dance.
And I think that's... Well, I could do even better, but
Now then.
this should be good for now.
What is this?
The annoying part is that she can't really do that much, considering everything. But whatever.
Ready?
So be it.
Wait. Over.
That's Aver's Reckoning with increased speed. Physical attack up and physical defense down. 36k, almost 37.
Right.
Pretty freaking solid.
Starving! That's my quarry.
40k.
Well, no mercy, only bang.
And then the big one.
Rise, Brad. The thunder blade.
Also almost 40k. Nice.
Forgive me.
As we get the black bow. Some chance to instantly kill target. Cool. I already have these two in my party, so that makes this really easy. The scarlet moon waxes and the first flame wanes. At last our great wish shall be fulfilled.
This world is naught but hunters and their prey. Just as Cataracta fell to my bow, just as Glacius's egg shattered before my might. The Dark Hunter sets forth once again, and my aim will not falter. Under the gaze of the Scarlet Moon, I shall fulfill the Great Wish. You must be quivering with joy, for your time has come at last. 10 years ago, I scooped you up, let you live. It was all for this moment. The darkness in our hearts is fed by anger, hatred, resentment, and jealousy. Our basest instincts. As that darkness grows deeper, so too does the shadow grow powerful. Few can stand against a beast whose heart has been drowned in darkness. A beast such as you. Long have I waited for the darkness within you to become black as night. So that maddening flame could be smothered forevermore. With my lifeblood, I shall call down the night. Now then. Make of my flesh an offering. And banish all that stands to oppose us. Give meaning to your miserable life. Ah, Arcanet.
Okay. So where are we going now? The Pilgrim's Way. That's interesting.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
But this smell, it's the scent of humans. They're frightened, hiding.
Someone's coming.
Mint.
Is that you, Temenos? Out for a stroll in a place like this? You always did have the habit of sticking your nose in places it doesn't belong.
A friend of yours, Temenos?
In a manner of speaking, but something's odd.
You failed to see what was in front of you. The shadow is ever by thy side.
Just what are you? This is an inquisition. Refuse to answer and...
Attempting to conquer others with threats of violence will always fail. Those who are subdued by strength cannot help but rebel. To conquer them, truly conquer them, you must subjugate their hearts and minds. Hearken to the shadows in their heart.
What are you talking about?
People are desperate for a place to belong. Give it to them, and they cannot bear to live anywhere else. And then, their hearts and minds are yours.
Their hearts and minds?
Humans are foolish by their very nature. Centuries pass, and yet they remain the same.
Bold words for someone so young.
Surrender yourself not unto silent dusk, for the light shall fade, and soon night shall fall.
The teachings of the Moonshade Order. No, it can't be.
Since you are so dogged in your search for the truth, allow me to help you. My true name is Arcanet, and I am the leader of the Moonshade Order. The same order that slaughtered the Call. All so that I could steal the flame.
That's impossible. The massacre of the Call was decades ago, and the Moonshade Order's origins are older still.
It's not impossible. There are old souls out there that hide behind youthful faces.
Thanks to Caldina's efforts, the Book of Night is now in my possession. That girl was so eager to be a puppet. She didn't realize the strings were held by her sworn enemy.
The Pontiff knew who you were. He was going to tell me, but his life was cut short.
I had hoped you would be more stricken. How dull. Such has ever been your nature. Your face always a placid mask. But I suppose it matters not. This world's end draws nigh.
That staff.
Once, long ago, night was invited into the world. But a loathsome few drove it away. Those events will not repeat themselves again.
You stole the futures of untold innocence.
Did I? Then you should thank me. This world is cruel, monstrous, with not a single mote of joy to be found amongst the misery. Don't you see? Roy, Pontiff Jorg. Yes, and even Crick. They knew. They knew the beauty of a dawn that would never come.
Quiet. I won't allow you to sully their names with such blasphemy. You will answer for your sins, Arcanet. And I'll ensure the world they hoped for comes to pass.
At last, Temenos' mask falls off.
I'm getting tingles.
I didn't expect it. Well, when I was thinking about it during the cutscene, I was like, oh yeah, the Sacred Flame is just, you know, like near the church over here, so... Oh well. Anyway, Arcanet. It doesn't surprise me that much that she's, like, after everything that has happened, doesn't surprise me too much when people are suddenly just evil. Or... yeah. I don't know your weaknesses. Let me go and do this and see if I can find an elemental weakness, perhaps.
Cleaning time.
Not weak to daggers. Weak to axes. Let me try this, see if you're weak to swords. No. That means spears.
Oh dear.
Well. There goes that idea. Let's try the wind again.
Winds of favor blow. So that's
There we go. The spit.
Cleaning time. Right. Here I
Not
go.
weak to that.
axe attack.
Really?
Now
That's some buffs right there. Let's try fire.
burns within you.
My turn.
But I will hope back. There! Eat this!
That was weak to fire. Nice.
Your stalwart ally throws.
Bow.
Only pain. Axe attack.
Some beefy ants. Jeez. Well, Arcanet's in any case not weak to fire. Let's go and conjure some ice. And we
As
go and
swift as a snake. I'll take this.
heal you up with this.
Cleaning time.
And then we're gonna go and hit her with this and hope that ice is a weakness. Yes, nice. Ice.
Well now.
And then spears is the other weakness,
Let's go.
yeah. Da-da-do-da-da. Ba-da-bam, bam, bam. Okay, I can break her in this turn.
Cleaning time.
Which I don't think would be a bad idea. Right? Or I could... The thing is, I don't want to risk her summoning more. So if I hit her now, I would need to buff up with Agnia. I would need to debuff. Okay, I can actually do this with... Okay. Let me go into armor corrosive.
You're open.
It's my turn now.
Okay, I will attack with her. Maybe? Actually, that would still work for my... Would it though? Yes. Jesus Christ.
Here
Okay,
I go.
let's go and do a Mighty Leaf. Go to the Feeling
Time
Serum.
for your medicine.
And then we're gonna go
Here we
and
go.
break her. Oh, I just noticed something.
Cleaning time.
I don't have enough BP. Well, that was not good. Fuck. Well, that's disappointing in a lot of ways. I guess I can use this opportunity to heal. And in theory, I can empower... I could empower Cassie though. But I would rather heal,
Hang in
honestly.
there. You have healing hands.
My turn.
You know, I'm gonna wait, because I really do not want to unload on her now, because the chances are very high
Wait, I owe you.
that she will then face Interesting, which would be really bad. Anyway, one of your weaknesses is definitely ice, so I can extend that by a lot.
No blankets here. Right.
Then... What else can I do? I guess I could actually go for this. Let's go and see if that works for me. It doesn't work for the immediate turn, but it will work the turn after. Yeah,
Oh dear.
there we go. Back in more enemies.
Now then.
Um,
The winds of favor blow.
Cleaning time.
And I guess, because I can, may as well do Aber's Reckoning.
Aber, Prince of Thieves. Easy.
There we go. Just need to make sure that I actually have the correct thing. I just need to make sure that I have enough BP for the next round.
My prey away. Things are about to get sticky.
My turn.
So I will not break her now, because that's gonna fuck me up. I will once again do a Mighty Leap with diffusing for the next turn, or wait maybe. Because this only lasts for 2 turns. Unless if I add another one. I would like to break her next turn, so let's go and boost up. Just gonna have another one of these, and then a diffusing circle. Then I can lower her defense in the next turn. Let's throw and then we're gonna break her.
What to do?
Actually, I have an even better idea. Jesus.
You're open.
So we're gonna do this.
Let's go.
Then we are going to do take aim. And then we're gonna break her.
Escape.
What to do? What to...
And then I'm going to use Agnia to give an energizing pomegranate to Rone.
Thank you, Agnia.
And she should now be able to do a big attack too.
What is this?
Okay. What can I do? You know, let's go for this.
The song of hope.
It's just gonna extend all these buffs by 4 turns,
My turn.
which seems like a pretty nice thing.
Over.
Right, so Aber's Reckoning,
Aber, Prince of Thieves.
37k. Seems to be just kind of the max that I can reach at the moment.
Let's Wahoo!
Right, and let's go and hit her with a lot of precise shots.
Huh?
Well now, no mercy, only pain.
And Brian's Blade.
Arise, Bran, the Thunder Blade.
Not bad. But she didn't die in one shot, which is scary. Considering this. Ooh, missed.
Might.
Nice.
All right.
Cleaning time.
She keeps missing.
Right.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Give up.
Heaven's Vengeance. That's a yikes and a half right there.
Not bad.
You're going to use the Hitting Great button. Wow, that's not anywhere near as much as I was having. How does this work again? It's just like on all foes. That's kind of ridiculous still. I kind of forgot that. But yeah, it's not really that good for what I have currently. Nah, just go for precise shot. There we go. Why?
And so we arrive at this moment. Are you truly so desperate to see the dawn? I see now that the Pontiff was not the true threat. It was you, You, a dagger sharpened to a razor's edge. Claude's masterwork. I can see it. The collar around that thin neck of yours.
A collar?
You will never be free. Even if I fall here, nothing will end. And they're always near. Soon, night shall fall.
Farewell, Mint. Your days of meddling are over.
Soon night shall fall. From the looks of it, it already has.
If this isn't night, then...
We go and get up. And to the north. Kind of wondering, since the candles are burning over here, does that keep the monsters away, or... Yeah, it actually does. Wow. Tansy's journal. Did you write this? Odnor asked. I immediately ripped the book out of his grasp and he shrank back a little, surprised at my strength. Couldn't believe he, of all people, had gotten his hands on my hidden script. Odnor had been acting from a young age and was already doing quite well for himself. I, too, had longed for the stage since I was a child, but ended up working at my parents' candle shop instead. Even so, I hadn't been able to give up on writing, and it became my secret pastime. I hadn't shown my scripts to anyone, though afraid that their response would confirm just how talentless I was, I screwed my eyes shut in embarrassment, preparing myself for his ridicule of my silly script. But, would you mind if I performed this? He asked. Another strange gasp, completely caught off guard. Be ashamed not to. Why don't we show it off at the next Festival of Grace? Though taken aback by the proposal, I was overjoyed to know that someone appreciated my writing. I nodded in agreement and decided to make it a performance to remember. Despite it being Odnor's idea, I realized that I was even more excited than he was. I even began composing musical scores for the show. I love you, Mary. Those words caused my heart to race and my hands on the harp to stop. What's wrong? Odnor asked as he peered into my face with concern. I realized that he no longer looked like that brat who had tormented me with insects in our youth. Still, I knew that the words he spoke were not his own. I had been the one to write them, after all. Half a month before the Festival of Grace, his performance was all but perfect. Couldn't help but wonder when he found the time to practice after his normal work was through. I, on the other hand, was struggling to think of a fitting ending to the script and worked late into the night. Unable to ignore my struggles, Odnor pulled me away from my desk and whisked me away into town late at night. The gods are all ours right now, he told me as we snuck into an empty church. Not long after, I was struck by inspiration, perhaps by the grace of the sacred flame. Odnor watched quietly as word upon word flowed from the tip of my pen. By the time I was finished, the dawn was breaking as Odnor read my script. His face was more serious than ever, and my heart pounded in my chest, though not out of nervousness. Once he finished, he smiled softly. Will you marry me? He asked, and I let out another strange gasp. Had I written that line? No, this time those words were Odnor's own. His proposals always had a way of bringing me unrivaled joy. My heart warmed at the sight of his smile, and the thought of performing the script we had written together. How I wished that happiness would last us a lifetime. Alas, I watched as the clerics carried his casket, and sobs filled the air around me. I laid him to rest with our scripts and his beloved yellow flowers. No, I thought to myself, this wasn't the ending I had envisioned. The day after finishing the script, I woke up to find my love cold beside me. According to the apothecary, Odnor's heart had failed him. I wondered if work was to blame. Why hadn't I noticed? I killed him. I pushed him too hard. It was all my fault. All my fault. Unable to bear the guilt, I pushed his death from my mind and carried on as usual. But whenever I remembered my beloved, I clenched my jaw so hard I thought my teeth would break. One day I found myself in front of a church, the same place Otner and I swore our love to each other. And a single cleric came to speak with me. Sadness is something that builds up inside. Holding it all in will do nothing but restore you, she told me. Please set it out. You don't need to endure it any longer. Moved by her warmth, I spoke of everything that I had buried deep inside me. She listened to every word, and at the end embraced me gently. All of my guilt and sadness were washed away by her kindness. And one day my feelings for Otner disappeared, and all that was left was her. One day I saw her with another woman and feared that she would leave me. Knowing I had to secure my place in her world, I told her that I would do whatever she asked of me. She smiled gently in response and said, I want you to find the blue flames, wherever they may be in this world. I left on my journey soon thereafter. My parents cried and tried to stop me, but I pushed them away. Unfortunately, I barely knew the area outside of my own home, let alone the whole world. Not long after, I met with a traveling troupe. They came to me bringing smiles to every corner of the realm. So I joined them, and the search began. That's how I found it, the blue flame she was looking for. It was on an isle at the edge of the world. I could only imagine how pleased she'd be. I was sure she would let me stay at her side. Oh, how I adore Sister Mint. I love you, Tansy, she said. Her warm voice and words reverberated in my head. She then handed me an old tome called the Book of Night and recommended that I read it, so I did, right then and there. It was a story of a people who did not long to see the dawn. I'd never read such an incredible tale before. As I looked up from its pages, she smiled at me. I realized that there was no greater happiness to be had than reading a wonderful book and seeing Sister Mint smile. In my mind, no brighter dawn awaited. Yes, I have no need for the dawn. It can all end, here and now. The thief and the cleric.
Ah. Wake up, Tansy. Night has come. Wake up, Tansy. Night has come.
Sister Mint? Oh, I fell asleep without realizing it.
Do not worry. You must have been quite tired. You traveled far to see my wish granted.
Sister Mint, I mean, Goddess. I would do anything if it brought me closer to you.
Your devotion is moving. You have gone far beyond my every expectation, and must be rewarded.
Rewarded?
I love you, Tansy.
Huh? It's so dark. Where am I? What? My body?
Pathetic child, oblivious until the very end. But this is what you wanted, is it not? It's not as if you desired to see the dawn.
Jesus Christ. The story's going bonkers. My god.
The sacred flames have been snuffed out. Surrender yourself not unto silent dusk, for the light shall fade. And soon the world shall know the joy of a dawn that never comes. All who stand in my way shall be cast aside. I shall root out the travelers and bury that wretched mirror beneath the earth, that it may never enkindle the flames again.
The light of the sacred flame indicated the southwest direction. So this is the night. Look at this darkness she spoke of. Be Vide? Or Vide? I don't know. Vide? Legends portray him as a god of fear and destruction, which means that the dawn must be... I spoke with the children of this village not long ago. It seems there's going to be a concert tomorrow. Loginea is coming to entertain everyone with her dancing. Those children were waiting for the dawn with stars in their eyes. It was a beautiful sight like gemstones glittering in the dark. They see nothing but hope. Indeed. That's why I made a promise to them. A promise that I would steal back the dawn. You truly are Aber come again. Is that meant to be a compliment? But of course. Now then, shall we get to work, Aber? There certainly is a lot of work to be done. More than I've ever done before. Okay, my friends. That, however, is going to conclude this episode of Just What I Was playing Octopath Traveler 2. And next episode, we're going to go and see where the flames take us. Goodbye.